player of the season contenders up to this point. And it's an interesting thing to think about, purely because I think it's been this season of team morale and team cohesion, and the best teams seem to be the ones that are doing the best in the league rather than relying on standout individuals. So it is more difficult, I think, to find a standout player of the season. But have a go, Myles. Who are you going for?
I'm actually going for Moises Caicedo at Chelsea. I think there was a time where that was looking like a bit of a flop signing last year. And then this year with Maresca there, he's dominated their midfield along with Lavia, and they've looked so much more stable because of it. It feels like the amount of attacking talent Chelsea have is unleashed because they are a lot more stable in the middle of the park. And the numbers Caicedo's putting up and his overall contributions in game are fantastic. I think he's second for duels won in the Premier League so far this season, first for tackles, seventh for interceptions, seventh for winning the ball in the middle of the park, and
That's
fifth
good
for through balls. So he's breaking play up from the opposition and bringing the ball forward and helping his team move in a more aggressive manner. And that's exactly what Chelsea signed him for. That's the sort of player we saw at Brighton. And now I don't think there are many midfielders that are competing with him in the league right now. I mean, you look at a couple of the Liverpool players that they'd be worth a shout as well. Salah obviously has been fantastic. I think Gravenberch is having an excellent season so far. But I think none of us expected Chelsea to be where they are right now. And I think a huge part of it is moving Enzo Fernandez out and bringing Caicedo in. I think he's been fantastic.
I think that kind of contrasting, obviously their fees has made both players under scrutiny, both Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo. And I think to see the almost ruthless approach of Enzo Maresca in picking one over the other, because he realised that they didn't work together very well, has been testament to Caicedo's importance, I think, and the role he plays. Like you said, he is a very much an all-round contributor to that midfield and that forward play. So yeah, impressive and justifying a fee finally, I think, and a player with like a really high ceiling. I don't think Caicedo has shown the best of himself yet. I think that's still to come. So yeah, exciting for him. Dave, who have you gone for player of this season so far? Who stood out for you?
I'm going to continue the trend of keeping the focus on the clubs below the top six, and this is one that I think a player who's had so much talent, but I think he got a lot of stick early on in his career about not being clinical enough and not finishing chances. But I think Danny Welbeck at Brighton so far this season has been remarkable, really. We mentioned about the amount of experienced strikers doing so well this season. But I think the numbers that he's put up, I think that's 6 goals now and 2 assists in 11 Premier League matches, which is great for him. And I think really just seeing how Brighton are performing with him spearheading that attack, and some of the teams that have been in the season, which we've spoken in the previous weeks, Mike, I think it's just amazing to see.
Taking the pressure off Evan Ferguson as well and kind of mentoring me at the same time. Yeah, fair shout. I think that's been a similar role, obviously at a different level, for Mo Salah, who's clearly the standout pick so far for player of the season. And I concur with that kind of almost reluctantly. Liverpool are doing so well. It's difficult to see as a United fan, but they're playing a different brand of football under Arne Slot. And I think the importance of Mo Salah to whatever Liverpool play and to whatever guys they come under has been highlighted even more now. And I think, was it 14 goal contributions in 11 games? That's a standout figure for any player, let alone one that people were looking at as potentially leaving the club very soon and might be at the end of his career and like slowing down a bit. He's lost a bit of pace, but not a huge amount. I think he's made more than made up for it in his vision, his reading of the game, his intelligence. And this could be Salah's best season, Myles, I think, in some ways. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think the fact that he seemed to have a bit of a rocky relationship with Klopp at times, and the emergence of the Saudi League and the money that they were going to throw at players, we all kind of expected Salah to be kind of on his last legs at Liverpool, but there's nothing to suggest that physically he is. Like he's still performing at the very, very top level, and the fact that Liverpool are where they are in the league, the whole team is operating at a very high level, of course, but Salah is undoubtedly the player that they need the most. He's been sensational. I think the fact that he still has that break of pace on the counter, the fact that he's built a connection with a variety of forwards now, because Liverpool do rotate that forward line a lot more these days. He seems to just be the most integral part of that, and there's no surprise there, is there?
No, not at all. And I think whatever Liverpool do, it will be dependent on him maintaining that in some ways, because we've seen someone like Darwin Núñez is literally hit and miss, isn't he? So it might be all on his shoulders, but I think he's ready for it, Mo Salah. I think he's become that figurehead and that kind of mentor of that team, and it feels right that any success is down to him in some ways. But